The political and economic advancement of nations depend on the quality of leadership capital of their policymakers. For over 5 decades, Nigeria's progress has been hampered, or is said to have been hampered, by a lack of quality leadership. As renowned novelist Chinua Achebe rightly puts it, the trouble with Nigeria is simply and squarely a failure of leadership. The Nigerian problem is the unwillingness and inability of our leaders to rise to the personal example, which is a hallmark of true leadership. The Emerging Leaders Conference, a gathering of 1,000 Nigerian youth leading for change in their fields of endeavor. The theme of this year, 2017, is Enterprise Beyond Boundaries, awakening the culture of innovation for national prosperity. Thus, the aim of the conference is to provide adequate information, practicable and applicable strategies, networking opportunities, as well as inspiration for all the young emerging leaders at the summit to take the challenge of leading for change back to their various endeavors and birth visible and tangible change within their spheres of influence. Mark the word spheres of influence, so around them, before you take it out. Well, to help us explain what this conference is about is the convener of the Emerging Leaders Conference, Mr. Linus Okorie. Thank you for joining us. And he's joining us.
Great to be here today.
He's joining us from our Abuja studios. Mr. Okorie, we've heard this is like how would I say, umpteenth time?
Umpteenth, yes.
Yes, we talk about the Emerging Leaders Conference. Tell us what your assessment has been of the conferences you've had for how many years now? 5 years or thereabout? More. So, how would you rate the impact of these conferences?
Or more. I have seen young people come into the conference and they never remain the same again. I've seen them come and set up businesses, and a lot of them develop their own businesses, and they are making a difference. A lot of them are impacting their communities, quite in an outstanding way. A young man called Dare, who attended one of the conferences, came back to us and told us a beautiful story, how he was inspired to go back and mobilize other young people who think like him. And today he's building a business that is working. And we have seen a lot of people come into our conferences. They become intrapreneurs, they become entrepreneurs, they become social change makers, and they are making a lot of difference. And so what we need to do is to intensify the process of increasing the impact level for these conferences, because that is the future of this country we're talking about.
How much do you stay in touch with these young people after the conferences?
It will interest you to know that we have a very strong team that, from time to time we are calling into this, organizations and requesting that they give us feedback about the performances of the young people that have been part of our conferences. And it's quite interesting to know that anywhere I go to in the world, from London to Washington to Owerri to Abuja to Kano, Kaduna, I see a lot of the our participants, and the stories we are getting is so lifting, it's inspiring. And that's why we think that there has to be a critical mass investment in leadership development, because it works like magic. If everybody thinks like a leader, then we can make a huge difference in this country. If everybody is imbibing the spirit of leadership, imagine what our country is going to be in the near future. So for me, this is the greatest investment we can think about in Nigeria, transforming the mindset of our young people, and they begin to think in an enterprising way and in a smart way, and then they can make a difference for our country. For me, that's why the energy to organize this year after year, is never ending for me, because the result has put smiles on my face and inspiration and hope for the future of this country.
This year, you're talking about enterprise beyond boundaries. awakening the culture of innovation for national prosperity. Now, can you break that down for us?
Interestingly, we are at a very challenging time in the history of our country. Our country is going through a lot of challenges right now. And so if you notice, nations of the world that have been able to make progress, in times of challenges, that's where you have individuals emerge and they lead specific change. You see people are bringing in, setting up companies because they're enterprising and they are building businesses based on hard work, smart work, commitment to excellence. And at the end of the day, those businesses are thriving. And what about if you have those who are in the political offices, for instance, and they can apply the spirit of entrepreneurship in the work that they do. So they become intrapreneurs within systems, driving change and all of that. So what this conference is going to be talking about really is, how do we as individuals, beyond just going to work on a daily basis and becoming employees of organizations, how can we apply the spirit of smart work, hard work, and commitment to, owning these institutions, even though they don't belong to us? How can we drive change with those institutions? This conference is about saying we have to now, wake up from sleep, and there's a race of nations happening all over the world right now. Can individuals begin to rise and grow beyond their environment in the context of the kinds of vision that they want to see? We want to see individuals growing and developing sound ideas, sound visions, and are stretching themselves beyond limit in order to make sure that those ideas come alive. I mean, dreams come true. So this is an era where we're gathering 1,000 people in one ground to have what we call peer review mechanism to discuss the quality of the competencies that they must have. And these competencies are key to drive growth within organizations, outside organizations, and even in government. In executing government policies, can we develop a spirit of enterprise in that process? So you want to talk about, instead of us complaining, can we innovate to get things done? That's the kind of thing you're going to be hearing at the conference. Can we mobilize to achieve specific goals and ideas? Can all of us come together and bring our strong points together and think beyond normal? Can we be proactive in our ideas? Can we stretch our ideas to the point where we're making a huge impact? For me, I think these are the things that we're going to be discussing at the conference. And beyond that, it's going to be a power networking conference where there'll be peer review mechanism. Somebody in Sokoto who owns a farm in Sokoto might think he's doing a great stuff, but he comes to the conference and discover that there's another young man who's coming from Ogun State who is doing outstandingly well. And they can share ideas, and at the end of the day, they can improve each other, and they would all come together and make a difference. But what I'm saying is that we must begin to groom quality thinking in our businesses. We must begin to groom quality conversations that can drive our integrity level, that can drive our enterprise level, that can drive our excellence level. Can we say that every Nigerian young person is excellent in all that he does? This will be the outcome of the conference, where people leave the conference and they are thinking, what can we do to make a difference in our environment? And they will stretch beyond limit in order to make sure that they are influencing the environment. That's what we're talking about.
Where and when is this conference taking place?
This conference specifically is taking place from the 10th and 11th of November 2017, Friday and Saturday next week. And it is taking place at the International Conference Center in Abuja. And so all of the aspiring young leaders who are making a difference, the very best in organizations, private institutions, public institutions, government offices all over this country, we are saying that nominate your very best of young people and send them to this conference because this is going to be the best thing that will happen to this country this year. So anybody who is listening to me now, you want to participate, you want to be part of this conference, all you need to do is send us a text saying, this is my name is this is what I do for a living. Send a text to 08099263734. I just take it again. 08099263734. 099263734 and say, my name is this is what I do for a living, I want to be part of this particular conference, I want to make sure that I participate and join the team of change makers and make a huge difference for our country. Every generation needs a resolution. Our generation must decide that in the politics, we must do things with high level of enterprise. In our personal businesses, we must do things with high level of enterprise. In government institutions, we must do things with high level of enterprise. And at the end of the day, there will be a resolve that will leave the conference reinventing ourselves like never before and going out there in our spaces of influence and are impacting them in a very outstanding way so that this generation can be the true changing point for this country. Nigeria needs leaders with high level of commitment in all aspects of our economy, and it is in conferences like this that leaders are inspired, leaders are made, and when they are released, they become a blessing to this country. No nation makes progress until you begin to reinvent yourself and put yourself on a path of enterprise. And if we become enterprising, the future of this country is guaranteed.